There are zodiac signs that are categorically not suited to jewelry, neither gold, nor silver, nor even symbolic amulets. And the reason for this is not fashion or taste, but energy. Wearing certain metals and stones can disrupt internal balance, block intuition, increase anxiety, and even attract misfortune. This is not superstition. It is knowledge that has been passed down for centuries by esotericists, alchemists, and keepers of sacred traditions. If you have noticed that since you started wearing a new ring, chain, or bracelet, a series of strange events have begun in your life, health or sleep problems have begun, perhaps you are wearing something that is energetically contraindicated for you. Today, I will tell you which signs can be harmed by jewelry, and why giving it up can dramatically improve your destiny. Look carefully. Perhaps it's high time for you to take off what's interfering with the flow of strength and well-being. Subscribe to the channel if you feel that you want to understand yourself more deeply and protect your energy. And write in the comments what jewelry you wear most often. Perhaps today you will find out why you should take it off. Let's start revealing the secret. The first sign is Taurus. At first glance, Taurus may seem like the ideal wearer of jewelry. He gravitates toward comfort, loves beauty, and has a sense of aesthetics. But it is for this sign that wearing jewelry can become a hidden trap. Their structure, shape, symbolism, and even material can imperceptibly affect the energetic stability of Taurus. It is especially dangerous when it comes not to something functional, but to decorative items created solely for the sake of external brilliance. Taurus is a sign that is associated with the material basis, earth, and internal stability. Its strength is not in demonstration, but in concentration. And any unnecessary elements, especially external ones, begin to shake its natural balance. Jewelry is not just visual objects. These are objects that interact with the human energy field, especially if they come into contact with the skin and are in areas of active energy circulation: neck, wrists, fingers, ears. When Taurus puts on jewelry, he starts an internal conflict between his natural calm and forced demonstrativeness. Even if everything looks harmonious on the outside, irritation, loss of concentration, and emotional disturbances are triggered inside. Jewelry with sharp angles, complex geometry, symbols, the meaning of which is incomprehensible to Taurus, have a particularly negative effect. His subconscious begins to work in background tension, because for Taurus, everything should be clear, simple, and holistic. Serious harm can be caused by items inherited or given by people with a strong emotional background. Taurus is one of those signs that instantly picks up someone else's energy through objects. He can wear a ring, earrings, a chain, not suspecting that along with the metal, someone else's fears, complexes, and difficult memories have passed on to him. This manifests itself in chronic fatigue, incomprehensible mood swings, unstable sleep, irritability without reason. Even new jewelry, especially if it is made of gold with impurities or covered with decorative inserts, can trigger the fatigue process. Metals often conflict with the physical magnetic field of Taurus. He may not feel it explicitly, but at the body level, suppression will occur. Microcirculation is disrupted, blood supply in the contact areas worsens, tension accumulates. The result is problems with the neck, pain in the hands, decreased concentration, a feeling of not your own skin. Jewelry in the form of animals, insects, sharp geometric shapes is also dangerous, especially if Taurus wears them regularly. These shapes activate aggressive signals, force the nervous system to work in defense mode, which Taurus absolutely cannot stand. His nature is creative, viscous, stable. And external irritants in the form of symbols of alien power cause internal sabotage. Another critical point is rings and chains that are worn for luck, for protection, or for wealth. If Taurus wears such things under duress or out of fear of losing something, he destroys his natural ability to attract abundance. This sign should not depend on the outside. His strength is in autonomy. As soon as he begins to rely on jewelry as an amulet, he loses touch with the inner source of strength and intuitive stability. The only exceptions can be items created personally for him, without aggressive symbols, simple in shape, handmade, and without hidden meanings. Even in this case, Taurus should wear them rarely, not allowing addiction. Any attachment to an object is a risk for him. A feeling of dependence on an external object is contraindicated for him, especially if it is an object in contact with the body. For Taurus, jewelry does not add status, it weakens his support. They start fussing, replace the inner feeling of prosperity with external glitter, prevent him from concentrating on what is really important. He can feel beautiful, but inside there will always be something interfering, distracting, upsetting. And the reason is that its natural silence is disturbed by an element that does not fit in there. Taurus should be especially careful with any kind of jewelry. Even one extra item can result in an imperceptible loss of concentration, energy, and emotional integrity. This sign should choose simplicity, avoid ostentatiousness, and never wear something that came from others or carries someone else's meaning. Only in this way will it preserve its strength and not give up energy in exchange for external brilliance. The second sign is Sagittarius. Every time a representative of this sign puts on jewelry, he unknowingly disrupts the delicate energy balance on which his luck rests. This is especially true for gold and warm spectrum metals. The problem is not in the beauty of the accessories, but in how they interact with the natural vibration of the Sagittarius personality. The energy of this sign is impulsive, directed outward, striving for expansion, freedom, and influence. Any object that wraps around the body or is fixed in the neck, ears, fingers, or wrists begins to limit the flow of power, especially if the jewelry is massive or shiny. The most dangerous are jewelry received as a gift from people with negative energy or from the past, where pain remains. Such items accumulate information, and in Sagittarius, they act faster than in other signs. One pendant can cause a breakdown, and a ring, an exacerbation of chronic conditions. Jewelry bought impulsively without intention becomes especially harmful at the moments of important decisions. It distorts the flow of intuition. Jewelry bought during travels is worth mentioning separately. Sagittarius is a sign of wandering, but it is in foreign countries that he is especially susceptible to the influence of symbols and artifacts. Amulets, bracelets, pendants bought for luck in places of power, in his case, begin to act the opposite way. They block finances, cause anxiety, provoke conflicts in personal space. Sagittarius's energy requires emptiness and freedom, and jewelry becomes an anchor that inhibits growth. Unfavorable are items with sharp elements, geometric shapes, engravings in unknown languages, even if it is just a decorative element. The throat area is especially vulnerable. Pendants on the neck block the flow of communication and inhibit inspiration. If delays in business, disagreements with partners, incomprehensible anxiety begin in the life of Sagittarius, the first thing to do is to take off all jewelry. Sagittarius men are also susceptible to this influence. Watches, cufflinks, bracelets, even rings with with coats of arms can bring heaviness if worn daily. Sagittarius women are especially sensitive to earrings and rings. They affect energy nodes, disrupting the balance on crucial days. Gifts of jewelry from ex-partners are especially dangerous. They leave mental traces that are activated upon contact. There is only one solution: minimalism. Cleansing from jewelry gives a powerful surge of energy, enhances intuition, returns control over events. It is important for Sagittarius to trust their body and feelings. If heaviness, irritation, or even a headache appears when wearing an accessory, this is a signal. During such periods, even a pair of small earrings can deprive Sagittarius of financial luck. It is best to leave the body free and direct the strength inward into actions and ideas. The third sign is Leo. Wearing jewelry for Leo is like throwing sparks into an already hot fire. This sign radiates such a powerful natural charisma that any external addition does not enhance the effect, but destroys the inner harmony. Particularly dangerous are gold and massive items that attract not attention, but excess energy from the outside. The more luxurious the attribute, the more Leo's personal field is distorted. He begins to take on other people's emotions, envy, heavy looks, aggression, without even realizing it. And every day it becomes more and more difficult for him to maintain internal balance. Leo's energy structure is built on a pure impulse of will. He is the center in himself and does not need visual accents. But when he puts on jewelry, especially those that shine or shimmer, they act as mirrors, enhancing the external projection and weakening the internal axis. At such moments, Leo loses confidence, becomes dependent on the opinions of others, feels anxiety and pressure for no apparent reason. His strength is in his natural simplicity, in the way he holds himself, speaks, and looks. Jewelry upsets the balance, creating an artificial structure around the true essence. Rings, bracelets, and pendants with clearly expressed symbols, crosses, infinity signs, images of animals, the sun, and hearts, have a particularly destructive effect. All these elements resonate with Leo's fiery nature and begin to distort the direction of his energy. He can become irritable, tired, and self-doubting. He stops feeling like he is in charge because external objects draw attention from his energy to themselves. And this is fatal for Leo, who must always remain a source of influence and not an object of a game of symbols. Another danger is jewelry received as a gift, especially from people with impure intentions. Leo may not notice the catch, but wearing such items instantly blocks his intuition. He begins to make mistakes in choosing partners, in trust, in decisions concerning his reputation. He can miss a chance, take the wrong side, succumb to flattery or manipulation. Everything looks beautiful on the outside, but inside it's as if the internal compass has stopped working. This is especially critical at times when Leo is expected to be a leader and have a firm voice. Instead of clarity, he feels vagueness and internal sabotage. It is strictly contraindicated for Leo to wear jewelry on his neck, especially chains and massive pendants. The throat area is the center of influence for him, a symbol of will and confidence. Any pressure on this part of the body blocks his voice, confidence, and determination. At times when Leo needs to make a statement, he may feel a lump in his throat, internal fear, or an incomprehensible weakness. The reason is not in him, but in the jewelry that has intercepted the energy. This is especially true if the jewelry is tight or too bright. It becomes an anchor for someone else's gaze, preventing free expression. If Leo wants to maintain internal integrity and avoid energy leakage, he needs to give up most of the jewelry in everyday life. It is better to leave minimalism, simple style, clean lines, without symbols, sparkling stones and complex designs. His light is already dazzling, and any unnecessary distracts from the main thing. The fewer external accents on it, the stronger its influence. The fourth sign is Aquarius. The energy structure of Aquarius is complex, unstable, and multi-layered. He perceives the world not as a plane, but as a system of signals, flows, and hidden connections. That is why any jewelry, especially with metal, stones, and symbols, sharply distorts his perception. They work like antennas, but do not amplify, but reconfigure his wave. Instead of his own signal, he begins to catch someone else's, disturbing, chaotic, destructive. Especially if the jewelry is made of artificial material or contains someone else's energy. The most serious threat to Aquarius is rings, especially massive ones, on the index and middle fingers. These zones are responsible for intuition and mental clarity. Jewelry in these areas blocks the flows, preventing Aquarius from hearing himself. He can start doing illogical things, falling into traps, acting impulsively. Outwardly, this looks like a loss of orientation. Inside, like a feeling that everything around has gone off course, and the thoughts themselves do not belong to him. Aquarius is sensitive to visual symbolism. That is why jewelry with engravings, geometric figures, signs, ancient runes, and incomprehensible ornaments can awaken anxious states in him. He may not be aware of the cause of anxiety, but the jewelry will constantly pulsate in the background, creating a dissonance between consciousness and energy. Amulets, talismans, and charms given by others are especially dangerous. Their hidden meaning can conflict with the individual field of Aquarius, causing rollbacks in energy. Earrings, especially metal or stone, also pose a threat. Aquarius's ears are channels for perceiving information. Any jewelry in this zone turns his perception into a filter that distorts reality. He can incorrectly perceive intonations, distort the atmosphere, draw conclusions that will not be confirmed later. Especially in situations where precise understanding is important. At such moments, jewelry literally blocks the channels of communication with the intuitive level. Aquarius should not wear jewelry associated with someone else's history, family heirlooms, items found by chance, antiques. The energy of the past penetrates deeper than it seems and begins to control his emotional background. Aquarius has a heightened perception of time. He feels layers, and someone else's past, encrypted in metal or stone, can penetrate his present. This will lead to inexplicable breakdowns, severe fatigue, depression, disorientation. The safest jewelry for Aquarius is his own thought. He is bright, unconventional, energetically changeable. Anything attached to the body weighs it down. In his case, even a small ring can become an anchor that interferes with flight. Therefore, it is important to cleanse yourself of excess. Minimalism in clothing, refusal of symbols, no amulets. Especially in July, when the Aquarius field is most receptive. The freer Aquarius is from visual pressure, the more he hears himself. His real strength is not in his show, but in the depth of his thoughts. And jewelry prevents him from being himself. The fifth sign is Virgo. The representative of this sign has a hypersensitive energy system, especially in the skin area and subtle channels of perception. Jewelry for Virgo is not a harmless element of style, but a potential blocker of internal balance. This is especially evident when wearing accessories made of artificial materials, low-quality alloys, or things bought on sale or at a discount for a long time. Virgo literally absorbs everything that the item carries, even if it looks perfect visually. The strongest energy resistance occurs when interacting with metal in the neck and arms. Necklaces, rings, bracelets for Virgo can cause insomnia, impaired concentration, and even decreased immunity. The reason is that jewelry becomes external noise, preventing Virgo from hearing herself. And when a representative of this sign loses inner harmony, finances, contacts, and health collapse. Particularly dangerous are gifts of jewelry from strangers, even if it is a pleasant present. Virgo has a powerful ability to absorb someone else's fate. Putting a ring on a finger that previously belonged to someone else can provoke anxious thoughts, fears, and even an unwillingness to move forward. Pendants with symbols, even beautiful or fashionable ones, cause an imbalance if they do not correspond to internal beliefs. This is especially true for jewelry with religious symbols, zodiac signs, animals. They can conflict with the personal code of Virgo. Items received by inheritance are also not recommended. Even if it is an antique ring of a great-grandmother, it can pull an energetic memory that is not suitable for Virgo. Such a ring can provoke an obsession with the past, an exacerbation of guilt, a delay in decision-making. For Virgo, jewelry is not just an object, but an active energy element that affects thinking, sleep, and actions. Particular attention should be paid to jewelry related to work, brooches, business bracelets, watches. They seem to reconfigure Virgo to other people's expectations, make them lose their individuality, especially if they are worn daily. Even stylish, expensive items can cause hidden fatigue if they do not match the owner's energy. The best solution for Virgo is to completely remove jewelry for at least a month. It's like a reboot. In just a week, sleep may begin to even out, anxiety may decrease, well-being may improve, and performance may increase. Free from accessories, Virgo's body begins to breathe differently and receive intuition signals without interference. The main task is to remove the excess, to allow the body to live without unnecessary pressure. Then the internal compass is activated, and Virgo again begins to make clear, precise, logical decisions that bring profit, harmony, and success.